Imagine the walls of your life, once strong and secure, now lying in ruins. This is the story of Nehemiah, a man who faced a similar crisis. Our tale begins in a time of turmoil. Nehemiah, a man of humble standing, served as a cupbearer to the king. He was far removed from the problems of his homeland, Jerusalem. However, the news of his beloved city's walls in ruins reached his ears, and it struck a chord deep within his heart. He was moved, not just by the physical destruction, but by the symbolic dismantling of his people's protection and dignity. Nehemiah could have chosen to ignore the news, continue with his life in the king's court, and remain in the comfort of his position. But he didn't. The distraught state of his people weighed heavily on him. He felt a personal responsibility to respond to this crisis. He was not a builder, nor a soldier, nor a politician, but he was a man with a heart for his people and a desire to make a difference. And so Nehemiah stepped up. He took on the challenge of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. He did not wait for someone else to take the initiative. He did not pass the buck. Instead, he assumed responsibility, demonstrating the first key trait of a true leader: the willingness to respond to problems with a sense of personal responsibility. Nehemiah's story is a testament to the power of an individual's commitment to a cause greater than themselves. His journey was not without its trials and tribulations, yet it was his unwavering sense of responsibility that carried him forward, fueling his resolve to face any obstacle that came his way. So, what can we learn from Nehemiah's calling? It's simple. True leadership starts with a sense of responsibility. It's about stepping up when no one else will. It's about taking on challenges head-on, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Nehemiah teaches us that leadership starts with a sense of responsibility, a willingness to step up when no one else will. Before rushing into action, Nehemiah did something crucial. He prayed. In the face of an immense challenge, Nehemiah, like many great leaders before and after him, sought wisdom and guidance from a higher power. He understood the importance of prayer as the foundation of his leadership. It was not an afterthought, but his first response. Prayer, for Nehemiah, was the platform upon which he built his strategies. It was his compass, guiding him through the intricacies of leadership. He didn't rely solely on his own understanding or abilities, but sought divine intervention, realizing that the best of plans can falter without divine guidance. Leadership isn't just about making decisions, it's about making the right ones. And sometimes that wisdom comes from a place of quiet reflection, humility, and prayer. It's about acknowledging our limitations and seeking help from the one who knows all. Prayer was his secret weapon, his source of strength. It can be ours too. As Nehemiah began to rebuild the walls, he faced opposition, but he did not falter. When we delve into this chapter of Nehemiah's life, we unearth a man of unyielding resilience. Sanballat and Tobiah, leaders of neighboring lands, mocked and ridiculed him. But Nehemiah remained steadfast. His devotion to his people and to his God fortified his resolve. Now imagine for a moment the relentless pressure, the constant ridicule, the persistent doubters. It would be enough to make even the strongest among us falter. But not Nehemiah. He pressed on, his spirit undeterred, his focus unswerving. He was a leader, true and through. He understood that leadership was not about the absence of adversity, but about perseverance in its face. Nehemiah's response to opposition wasn't retaliation or surrender, but resilience and resolve. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance. Nehemiah's story reminds us that true leaders stand firm, no matter the opposition. Nehemiah knew he couldn't rebuild the walls alone. He needed the people. In the heart of the city of Jerusalem, where once stood a magnificent wall, now lay only ruins. But Nehemiah, a man of vision, saw not a ruin, but a city waiting to be reborn. He understood that this wasn't a task for one man, but a mission for an entire community. Nehemiah was no ordinary leader. He didn't command from a distance, nor did he delegate the work and sit back. Instead, he stood shoulder to shoulder with the people, sharing in their labor and their struggle. He didn't just instruct, he inspired. He didn't just manage, he motivated. He rallied the citizens of Jerusalem, not with impassioned speeches, but with his own tireless efforts. He led by example, showing the people that if he, their leader, was willing to get his hands dirty, then so could they. And so, they followed his lead, each one contributing to the rebuilding effort, each one playing their part in the city's revival. Nehemiah also knew the importance of unity in achieving a shared goal. He fostered a sense of camaraderie among the people, encouraging them to work together, to care for each other, and to support one another. He knew that when people feel a sense of belonging, when they feel that they are part of something bigger than themselves, they are willing to give their best. But what perhaps set Nehemiah apart most was his ability to instill hope. Amidst the rubble, he saw potential. Amidst the despair, he saw possibility. And he made others see it too. He ignited a spark in the hearts of the people, a spark that soon turned into a flame that lit up the city and against all odds brought the walls of Jerusalem back to life. All these qualities made Nehemiah an effective leader. But the key takeaway here is this: leadership isn't about doing it all yourself. It's about inspiring others to work together. It's about rallying your team towards a shared goal, and not just leading the charge, but being part of it. Despite challenges, Nehemiah and his team completed the task. The walls were rebuilt. And the completion wasn't a quiet, unnoticed event. It was marked with a celebration, an outpouring of joy and gratitude. The sound of their rejoicing could be heard far away, echoing across the land, a testament to their hard work and perseverance. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. Nehemiah did not simply start a project and leave it halfway. He saw it through to the end. And it wasn't an easy task. There were obstacles, opposition, and difficulties. Yet he remained steadfast, committed, and focused on the goal. That's what leaders do. They don't abandon ship when the waters get rough. Instead, they steer it with even more determination, navigating through the storm until they reach the shore. And when they do, they don't just move on to the next task. They pause. They acknowledge their achievement. They celebrate. This celebration serves a dual purpose. It's not only a way to express joy and gratitude, but also a means to acknowledge the efforts of everyone involved. It's a recognition that every hand that contributed, every spirit that persevered, played a part in the accomplishment. In our lives, we too face tasks that seem daunting, projects that seem unending. Like Nehemiah, we too encounter obstacles and opposition. But his story reminds us that we can overcome, that we can stay the course, remain committed, and see our task through to completion, no matter how challenging it may seem. And when we do, let's remember to celebrate, to acknowledge not just the achievement, but also the journey, the effort, the perseverance, the determination it took to get there, because that's where the real victory lies, in the trying, the persisting, the overcoming. Nehemiah's story encourages us to stay the course, complete the task, and celebrate our achievements. Let his tale inspire us to strive, to persist, and to rejoice in our successes, no matter how big or small. Because every task completed, every goal achieved, is a step forward on our journey, a testament to our resilience and a cause for celebration. Nehemiah left a legacy that transcends time. His leadership lessons remain relevant today. As we arrive at the culminating scene of our journey with Nehemiah, we find ourselves in awe of the timeless wisdom that his story imparts to us. Throughout his journey, Nehemiah exemplified what it means to be a leader. He was a visionary, a source of inspiration, and a beacon of hope for his people. His first leadership lesson was his audacious calling. He dared to dream, and he dared to answer the call to lead. He didn't wait for someone else to step up. He took the initiative, demonstrating that true leadership begins with a vision and the courage to pursue it. Next, Nehemiah showed us the power of prayer. He understood that leadership is not a solitary journey, but one that requires divine guidance. He sought God's wisdom in every decision, teaching us that prayer is the foundation of leadership, the source of our strength, and the compass that guides our actions. In the face of opposition, Nehemiah remained steadfast. He stood strong, not allowing the naysayers to deter him from his mission. His resilience teaches us that leadership involves facing challenges head-on, undeterred by the winds of adversity. Nehemiah's leadership was also characterized by unity. He fostered a spirit of collaboration, understanding that a shared vision is more potent than a solitary dream. The walls of Jerusalem were not built by one man, but by a community united by a common purpose. Furthermore, Nehemiah finished the task he had set out to do. He didn't stop halfway or abandon his mission when the going got tough. As leaders, we need to commit to seeing our projects through to the end, regardless of the obstacles we may encounter. Nehemiah left a legacy that transcends time. His leadership lessons remain relevant today. And so, as we reflect on Nehemiah's story, let's remember that his leadership principles can guide us in our own leadership journeys. Like Nehemiah, we too can become effective leaders and leave a lasting legacy.